Here we go. Let's get the show on the road. The title of the presentation is How to Start a Consulting Side Business as a Solopreneur and Make Your First $3,000. This is something I've done. Everything you see on here is going to be things that I've actually done. No theory. The 5 things you must have to succeed.
This channel is dedicated to helping professionals and experts generate an income online using the skills and expertise they already have. So, if you are a professional or an expert and you want to claim your slice of the online money pie and break free from the corporate 9-to-5 grind, subscribe and click that bell icon. Let's get back to the video.
If you have these 5 things, if you get these 5 things right, you are virtually guaranteed to be a success from day one.
So, a quick disclaimer. If you follow the steps in these videos, then your chances of success, I think, will be a lot higher in your consulting. In no way am I guaranteeing what sort of income you're going to make. You could make lots, you could make little, you could make nothing. You could finish sharing what worked for me.
Okay, so let's go. First, a little bit about me. That's me, smiling and looking happy. I'm a pharmacist by training. I own 2 other YouTube channels as well as this one with over 40,000 subscribers combined and coming up to 5 million views across the 2 channels. I also own a supplement brand. I've got 2 active niche websites, one in the watch space. I sell watches for some reason, but it's working out well. I've had a consulting side business since 2022 in the hair loss space. Peak season, that business brings in a good 4 figures per month. So imagine what an extra 1,000 or 2,000 per month can do for you. That could probably cover the bills, that could pay for the fixing the car, that could pay for so many other things. So it's a very handy side income to have. Everything I share in this series of presentations, 100% based on experience. I'm not going to share a single thing that I haven't done or experienced myself. Absolutely no theory. Talk about why I adore a consulting as a side business. The right one, because you can have a rubbish consulting business that just makes your life hell, but the right one is an absolute dream. It's very simple to set up, almost no overheads. So profit margins are enormous. I mean, imagine, as I said before, an extra £1,000 to £3,000 per month. That could cover your bills, and anything you get from your day job can go straight into your pockets. It doesn't drain your time. So it's one of the easiest businesses to run in my experience, and I've done a lot of them. Easily, you can work even a full-time day job and still run a consulting business on the side. It's that easy. And it can eventually it can replace your day job. Warning, might seem a little bit scary, but it has to be said. Do not start a consulting side business at home unless you have the following. You have professional plus hands-on experience in your field. You have substantial experience or track record. So the first one is if you have professional qualifications. For example, if you are a accredited or chartered accountant, then obviously you have professional qualifications. You probably can get away with just having the professional qualifications, but you also probably need some track record, some hands-on experience. But if you don't have professional qualifications, you can make up for it by having substantial track record, substantial experience and track record. So if you don't have no professional qualifications, but you've run multiple businesses for 30 years, that's good enough. You can easily become a consultant for virtually anybody. Ideally, I would say, some people might disagree, minimum 5 years of experience in your field, because you are a consultant. People are going to be relying on your advice for crucial decisions in their businesses and even in their lives. So minimum 5 years of experience. Otherwise, honestly, this might seem harsh. Don't bother. If you don't have any of this, just stop watching right now. This is not really for you. I'll be brutally honest. Let's talk about the 5 pillars of a successful consulting business as a solopreneur. And the first one, in my experience, is having access to a starving audience. When I say a starving audience, I don't mean people that are literally hungry. I mean people who are hungry for an outcome, for some transformation. The more acute that starvation, the more likely your project or your consulting idea will be a success. So this is an absolute must. The starving audience can be individuals, so people. You can offer them coaching or consulting on a particular topic. The pros of working with individuals is they are easier to target and find. They're easier to manage because you're dealing, usually one-to-one, unless you're doing group coaching. But the downside is probably the margins are lower compared to, as we will see, dealing with B2B or companies and big organizations. You can also target companies, or as they call it, B2B, business to business. The pros and cons of this is they're probably harder to acquire. So get access, having a company as a client is going to be a bit harder than targeting and finding individuals. There's lots of companies, especially medium to bigger size companies. There's lots of red tape, lots of hoops to jump through, email this, email that, approval this, approval that. It can be a complete headache. But the margins are probably higher in terms of you can get a big juicy contract for $20,000 or 30,000. Get 2 of those contracts a year and you are set. You don't actually need a full-time job. So there's pros and cons to who you target in terms of your audience, but they have to be a starving audience. You need to have a deep understanding of your audience. Understand him or her or them inside out. This is non-negotiable. You need to understand their pains, their hopes, their fears, their successes, their failures. This can take months of research, but there are ways to shortcut them dramatically, or shortcut this process dramatically. And I'll cover this in more detail in my coaching program. And it's important to say that if you mess this part up, and you don't have this deep understanding, everything that follows from now on is going to be built on sand and you are wasting your time.
If this all sounds good and you want to be part of my coaching program and you want to really take this seriously, then I'll leave the links and the information and the current pricing of my coaching program down in the description. Just bear in mind the coaching is not free, so just have a look at the pricing and the options and see if that's suitable for you. Otherwise, I wouldn't even bother clicking and going to my website.
Let's move on to the second cornerstone of a successful home-based consulting business, and to be honest, of any consulting business, and is the offer. So your offer is vital, also called value proposition. Some people call it USP, but essentially it means the same thing. So you need a validated and compelling offer. Notice I use the two words validated and compelling. They're not the same. Both stand for something very important, and we're going to explain more in a bit. This is an absolute cornerstone of your entire business, and another non-negotiable. You have to have it. Validated basically means that your offer has a proven market, and we'll talk about how you prove this a little bit later. Compelling means it's irresistible to the right avatar. I mean, when they see it, they can't help but purchase it or buy it. And this is something else that is really important. Your offer should be summarized in one sentence. It should be simple to understand and summarized in a single sentence. If you can't summarize your offer into a single sentence, you need to go back to the drawing board, because you still haven't really specified the essence of your offer. Let's look at some really good examples of compelling offer statements. But we're looking for a nice short sentence that explains exactly what you do to a potential client. So none of these are mine, unfortunately, but I just thought they were really, really good. The first one says, I help food lovers lose weight and stay in shape without giving up guilty pleasures. I mean, look how beautiful that offer statement is. It tells you exactly what the consultant or coach does. More likely to be a coach here, probably some fitness coach. So it says here, I help food lovers, so it identifies who the avatar is. Lose weight, it identifies their goal and it gives the results. Stay in shape, and then at the end it gives the pain point associated with losing weight and staying in shape, which usually means giving up guilty pleasures. But this offer tells you that you don't have to give up guilty pleasures. An amazing offer statement. The next good one is helping busy executives manage stress while smashing their KPIs. Look at that. Absolute beauty. Helping busy executives, again, identifies the avatar to a T, manage stress while smashing their KPIs. I mean, every executive wants to reduce actually their stress levels, and every executive wants to smash their quarterly or yearly KPIs. Amazing offer statement. The next one says, I'll increase your revenue by at least 10% or you don't pay. This is one I've seen on a lot of YouTube ads for kind of SMMA agency types. It's a very popular offer these days. And you can see why, because it's promising. Who doesn't want their revenue to go up by 10%? And until then, they don't have to, they don't have to pay the consultant. So it's risky, but it's just a incredibly compelling offer. I noticed something about all of them. They speak to a specific audience, so food lovers, busy executives, and they promise a tangible result, smashing KPIs, 10%, stay in shape. So they really specify who the audience is and what results they'll help the audience or the target avatar get. This is an art form. Coming up with a offer statement is an art form. It's not really a science. And I cover this extensively in my coaching program, where we'll sit down and come up with an offer statement that is as good as these, if not better. Now, let's have a look at some terrible examples of offer statements. Some are really, really bad. The first one says, helping facilitate integrated KPI streamlining using an omni-channel framework. Dear, oh dear. It's word salads, isn't it? Awful. Teaching coaches how to get more clients online. Notice all of these. They're boring. They're vanilla. First one is just a bunch of big words thrown together into a word salad. And the second one is just boring and vanilla. No one is going to pay attention to these. They're going to bat an eyelid. No one is going to ever remember them. Earlier, I referred to something called a validated offer. So what is a validated offer, and why is it important to do, or why is it important to validate your offer? So a validated offer is an offer that has a proven market demand. And this is an offer that you tested and one that actually generated you money. Okay? Until then, all you have is just a lovely idea. You don't have an offer. And there are ways to test if your offer is valid or not very, very quickly. So you're not wasting your time on an offer that is a dud. And quite often, failing fast is the key to succeeding quickly. So that's a very neat statement. I think you should read it again. Failing fast is the key to succeeding quickly. So that means if you waste your time testing ideas that are gonna fail, poor ideas and poor offers in depth, taking months and weeks, you're just gonna take that much longer to get to your winning idea. So you need to fail fast to succeed quickly. The third cornerstone of a successful consulting home business is a source of clients. So this is obvious. You need a source of clients, otherwise you don't have a business. You need to ask yourself, where are your clients? Where they're found? How can you get in front of them? This is where 99% of people, even experienced consultants, really struggle. They are in a permanent state of feast and famine, where they have loads of clients for a while and then there's absolutely nothing. And most often, there are two ways to get your clients. I would say almost always it's going to be one of these two. It's going to be either by paying, for example, for ads, or it's going to be through organic ways. And we're going to go through both of these in detail now. So let's talk about organic traffic first. This is things like social media, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. I think all of you are familiar with them. Blogging as well. Some people write blogs to rank on Google and get traffic that way. You can get on podcasts, influential podcasts, for example, to get in front of your target audience if you think they are all listening to podcasts. Word of mouth, for some people, that could be a really good source of traffic and clients. So the pros of having organic traffic as your main way of getting clients, well, the first one is free or almost free, but there are some cons. And the main con is that it's incredibly slow. For example, blogging can take up to 18 months to rank on Google. Talk about paid traffic. So this is things like ads on Google or YouTube or other places, shout outs. You can pay influencers to give you a shout out. Affiliates, so you can work with affiliates, people who promote your content or your website in exchange for a commission, say, for example, 10% of when you hire a client. The pros for this: instant traffic. You can place an ad in the next 5 minutes and have traffic coming to your website within 10 minutes. And this is hugely scalable for the right niche, and especially if you know what you're doing in terms of media buying. The cons, the obvious one is you can lose your shirt if you don't know what you're doing. So my recommendation: how should you choose between paid media or paying for traffic or going organic? I think for most field and niches, I think you should do a mix of both. This is where I've had my best results. Some niches or offers do better with a specific type of traffic, so that will have an impact. It really depends on your field and niche. And here is something I learned that is not really shared by many people online, is that paid ads, for example, they actually increase your organic reach. So when people see your name or your brand in an ad, people are very savvy these days. What they do is they go on Google and they Google you or Google your company. So you get more organic traffic that way. And how to choose which approach to go with is something I cover extensively in my coaching program. Move on to the fourth cornerstone, which is messaging. Incredibly important to building a consulting home business. Vital, as I just said. Your offer statement that we discussed earlier in the presentation should be front and center of your business, and it needs to be all over your social media, all over your website, and you have to be on message all the time. So people need to be hearing, potential clients need to be hearing exactly what you do, your offer statement. They need to see it, they need to hear it, and you need to be on message all the time. Do not be tempted to talk about what cute thing your cat did last night. Maybe your cat jumped on your keyboard and looked at your social media and it was all hilarious. You do not be tempted to talk about that nonsense. Stick to your message. Stick to your offer statement. Humans like clarity and consistency. So be clear and be consistent about what you do. Cornerstone is going to be controversial, because I know a lot of consultants who say you don't need a website, but I disagree. I think this is a cornerstone in 2024. Do you need one? As I just said, some people say you don't. And technically they're right. You don't need a website, technically. But the question is, should you have one? And my answer is absolutely yes. You would be bonkers not to have a website in 2024 if you want to start a consulting business from home. Why? Well, a website is open 24/7. You go to bed, a website does not go to bed. You need to go to the toilet. A website does not need to go to the toilet. It's there as your front of house, as they say in the restaurant industry, 24/7. Okay, and it gives you huge amounts of credibility. If you don't have a website in 2024, people are going to be suspicious. They're going to be like, what? This is a successful consultant, and when I look them up in Google, they don't even have a website. I'm not going to do business with them. Thank you. And the third benefit is that a website, you can control your brand with a website. So if you have your website ranking on top of Google and someone visits your website, then you can put on your website exactly what you want the viewer to see. You can put your achievements, your track records. You can really control your brand with your website. We talk about how to build a website. This is just something like a bonus that I'm going to discuss now, because a lot of people are really concerned about this. I'm not techie enough. I don't know how to build a website. Well, you can do it yourself if you know how to code. I can build a website. I can build a simple website in half a day. Actually, I can do it in about 3 hours, but it's taken me a long time to learn this. I still don't know how to actually code a website, but I can build a decent website, a good website, in about 3 hours. These days we have page builders, which have made building a website, even for non-techie people, very easy. Things like Wix or Squarespace, they have, drag and drop page builders, so that, to be honest, most people can learn how to build a decent website within a weekend. Or you can hire a freelance developer, but this can be costly. Remember, if you are deciding to build a website yourself or hiring a freelancer, remember, a slow website is a sales killer. So if your website is taking 5 seconds to load, you can forget about having a business. No one is going to wait around for 5 seconds. So bear that in mind, and do not be tempted to go cheap and hiring the cheapest freelancer, doing it yourself when you don't know what you're doing, just to save a penny here and a buck there. So this is another service I offer. So I have a team of reliable developers that I've been using for years. So if you go with my coaching program, obviously this is something I can help you with, but that you have some other options. You can build it yourself, hire your own freelancer, and so on. You are completely crazy and you decided you don't need a website, you're going to try and start a consulting business without a website. What are the alternatives? Well, a phone and a laptop. That's all you need, really, because you just take calls and email your clients. That should be enough. This is the easiest setup, but you can only operate during business hours. So when you close your laptop and turn your phone off to go to bed, your business is closed. Okay. You potentially miss a lot of leads, especially from different time zones. So, for example, if you're based in the UK like I am, and you don't have a website, when you go to bed, it's on the East Coast, it's probably late afternoon. And on the West Coast of the US, it's midday. And people might be emailing you and contacting you, and you are not replying because you're in bed. So you miss on a lot of potential leads. It's not terribly professional. Again, as I said, people are going to be very suspicious. They're going to be like, why is this consultant who claims to have all these amazing achievements, they don't even have a website? Are they a scammer? And they'll probably run a mile. And another negative that comes with not having a website is clients will lowball you. The value of your service actually drops in their eyes, and instead of maybe they came in intending to do a deal for $5,000, but then when they see you don't even have a website, they'll be like, oh, okay, he or she might be good, but they don't have a website, they can't be that serious. I'll see if I can get them to do the work for $1,000. To do this, as in not having a website, if you don't want to make any money, then yeah, go ahead, don't have a website. Something else you need to have is a professional email. So do not use your personal email for business. Absolute no. When you get a website, you usually also get an email account. So this should not be an issue. It should be very easy to set up because it comes with your website hosting. Something like yourname@yourwebsite.com is the most common, kind of professional type of email. Very professional, and it inspires confidence in your clients or from your clients. Something like babycakes1985@hotmail.com does not inspire confidence. Let's briefly touch on another kind of important thing to have in terms of the day-to-day running of your business, and that's a payment gateway. This is a way for you to accept payments from your clients. So something like Stripe or even PayPal will be sufficient for this in the early stages, but you need to integrate this into your website. So I know Stripe do ways where you can just send invoices separately to your clients' emails, but I don't really like those. I like to integrate the Stripe or PayPal business into my website and accept payments that way. It's just easier to run and manage. Otherwise, you'll just be sitting there emailing invoices back and forth, which is a waste of time. And any developer can set this up for you very quickly. It's not that difficult at all. But avoid a Stripe or PayPal, especially Stripe, if you are dealing with large sums straight away. You do not want to open a Stripe account or PayPal account and hire your first client and do a deal for £10,000 and then try and put that through Stripe. They will close your account down straight away. I've seen it before. So you want to start with kind of lowish amounts, steady for many weeks, and then gradually ramp up. You do not want to be ramping up straight away. Or if you are consulting in high risk industries, I would not recommend something like Stripe or PayPal. There are other options, and I cover this extensively in my coaching program. And of course, this kind of goes without saying, but never use wiring money from your bank to your client's bank and all that stuff. Don't do that. You should have all your consulting business separate entity with its own bank account, with its own payment structure from your personal stuff. Never mix the two. Again, let me just say, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just talking about what I do. So if you want to get some financial advice, you should go and see an accredited financial advisor.
Enjoyed this video, obviously you are serious about growing or starting a consulting business from home, then why not grab a cup of coffee and binge watch this entire playlist to do with starting a successful home consulting business. Go on.